this island is pretty cool. Out on the water and whatnot, you just come out to this, and there's nobody really out here. It takes a little bit of a paddle to get here. RV life itself, like saving money and all that, you have to be pretty strategic these days to do that, but you can save money. In the I have a video on this here. You know, especially if you're stationary, it's definitely possible and doable. But the thing of it is, saving money with RV living is only the first part of your journey. There's so much more that happens after that, where you're able to do things you wouldn't otherwise. And one big part of that, I think, has to do with time itself. I'm going to tell you a couple different things, you know, just as a fellow traveler, right? Experiencing this world with others, not here trying to tell you like, this is the way, this is what to do, or anything like that. I'm only going to share a few ideas that I think are really cool. Now, one of these ideas actually comes from a school winner, a school games winner. And I don't know if you know about the school games, but you know, it's put on by Alex Hormozi, and you have to do quite a bit to win, right? So this guy who won, which I'll tell you, I have links to that all a bit later, but this guy won. He put together a list of ideas that kind of showed how he was able to do that. And the biggest thing that I think was so cool about this list is that it actually is very simple, and the core ideas were in that simplicity. And one of the biggest things was consistency. By keeping things simple, he was able to keep it consistent. And it was really all about habits, these habits and routines that keep the whole effort going. So the simplicity is where it's at. And he basically said, you know, 80% of it is showing up, and showing up consistently, even when there's no real external reward, right? What a nice beach area. Check this out. So I went to Mount Hood with my brother-in-law and his son, and basically we went 2.5 days, 40 miles, 10,000 feet elevation gain, and that was only in 2.5 days, right? And so and this was the first hike of the season. Probably not the best idea, but it was really fun. But the thing of it is, I was just beat. I mean, it was tough. It was tough. Like, it's a good go, right? So when I did it, right near the end, Taylor, my brother-in-law's son, he went, and because he's been on the PCT, and he had this really light backpack, and so he got up to the lodge, you know, ahead of us. He got a breakfast burrito and brought it back down 1.5 miles. It's all uphill, a 1.5 miles, but he brought a breakfast burrito down to us, and I got half of that burrito. I wolfed that thing down because we didn't intend it to go a little bit longer, and we did, and so I had run out of supplies. I was so hungry. Wolfed that thing down, and he also gave me a soda, right? A Coca-Cola, or was it Pepsi? I don't care. Anyway, I don't drink this stuff, but I was like, all right, you know what? Extenuating circumstances, I gulped that thing down. I'm so happy, right? But then I took that focus and energy, and I was like, this last part, 1.5 miles, all uphill, right? And so I just took it step by step, and I focused on my next step and my next step and my next step, and I would just look up to see directionals. And then I got into this breathing mode. I don't know if you ever get into Wim Hof and his whole thing about like box breathing, but it was something along those lines, and really just got into the breath of it, and really just kept going and going and going. And it was like I had this renewed, like I just went for it, and I became, you know, in my own mind, okay, you know, because when you're breathing, you're meditating now, you just become part of the mountain. The mountain's feeding you this energy, and you just go for it. Anyway, so that's what I did. And that's the thing about the step-by-step, right? Is just breathing into it. There's this, you just take the next step and the next step and the next step. You don't worry about the overall. And I think that's the whole part that's missing. A lot of times in life, we do all these plannings and spreadsheets, and ROAS this, ROAS that, you know, all these calculations. But what if in all your endeavors, you looked at being right here, right now, And I think that's what full-time RV living is a lot about, because you move to the next place and it allows you to see things all anew again, because there are new places. And you see people differently, you see places differently, and time shifts a whole bunch. And I'll try to explain that in another video, how that works, but it really does. But it's amazing, it's incredible. So that's my story about, taking it bit by bit, that this guy who won the school games talks about. I think there's a lot of truth in that. A lot of it is an internal confidence that what you're doing is the right path. Even when you don't have the views, even when you don't have people showing up, you still show up and you show up and you show up, and it's consistent. And if you look at it like Atomic Habits or The Power of Habit or The Rise of Superman, it really is that 1% effort, those habits and routines that keep it going. And what I think with full-time RV living, whether you're stationary or not, it's leveraging your time and leveraging that capacity you have. Like when you save money, think about things you can do with that, right? Start communities, create content, create offers. I think full-time RV living is one of the best ways to actually start branding, start your own brand, and creating content. I'm fully convinced we're just at the beginning of things. We're at the beginning of stages. It seems like everything's crowded and whatnot, but there are so many things happening so quickly that it's not about information, it's transformation, and it's working with people and having systems and routines. It's not about courses or anything like that. It's having evergreen core ideas that people use, and then it's being able to pivot, to listen to your audience. And this was that other key point. So simplicity is one thing, just consistently showing up. And the other key point this person had was listening to your audience and that interaction with his audience, whether it be a quick Loom video or whether it be, responding to different posts. And really, you have your thumb on the niche of that audience. You have your thumb on the pulse of what they're doing. And that interactivity is going to help so much, drive so much forward. And so I see the core of things going forward, at least for me anyway, is content, community, and offers. And once you get those three down, they all feed each other, see, because one feeds the other. Once you get those systems down and you just show up consistently in that 1%, improving, and really having a core reason internally why you're creating the content. Like, I could create this video for you, and I could, let's say, just get nothing from it in terms of externally, right? But as long as I have an internal way that I'm thinking about, shaping how I create, what I'm creating, I win. And I believe that consistently showing up time after time, which is one of my areas of weakness right now, but I've seen that weakness and I've seen where I've been able to move past it, and it's just being consistent with that. So that's what I'm working on going forward. But if you have the same thing, remember, internally, if you're creating your systems internally, ways to grow, to understand more, and to enjoy what you're doing, then the external is going to catch up to that internal. It's in the terms of the universe is resonance. The internal resonance comes first, and then it's reflected in the outer world in terms of what happens. I'm really excited about this. There's further details on what this guy did. I'm gonna put that right here on the video. You can pause it, copy down the info, and then go check it out. Totally awesome. And if you like this video, you're definitely gonna like this other one. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time.